an American. Last Saturday was a jarring reminder that we, as Americans, must always remember. There is more that unites us than divides us. We all want this country to be great, even if we don't always agree on the best way of doing that. And with every bone in my body, I can tell you that all Donald Trump wants to do and has ever wanted to do is make this country great again for all of us. Proverbs 28 reads, "The wicked flee, though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion." And that truly epitomizes Donald Trump. He is a lion. He is bold, he is strong, he is fearless, and he is exactly what this country needs right now. Let's not forget what life actually looked like under President Donald Trump. Trade deals across the world that benefited our economy, allied countries paying their fair share, a safe and secure southern border, record low unemployment rates for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, and women, record investment in historically black colleges and universities, the creation of the United States Space Force, the most comprehensive prison reform in decades. How about the peace agreements in the Middle East that they said would never happen? The largest tax cuts in American history, our energy independence, massive amounts of red tape cut, and no new wars when Donald J. Trump was president. Maybe, most importantly though, you could actually feel it in your everyday life. Now, you didn't have to love everything that he tweeted, but you cannot deny you were better off when Donald Trump was in office. Americans were finally able to start saving money. Home prices were affordable, and gas hit a low of $1.87 a gallon. As I speak here tonight, many of our fellow Americans don't know how they'll pay for their next trip to the grocery store, new clothes for their children, or this month's rent. Many of our fellow Americans worry that we are on the verge of a major terror attack here on American soil. Many of our fellow Americans don't think their own children will be able to establish a better life than they themselves currently have. Many of our fellow Americans are right now sitting and wondering how on earth this country could have moved in the wrong direction and so quickly. The Democrats and the media know that they cannot convince you, the American people, that your life is better off now, because it's not. So what will they do? They'll try to sell you on some outrageous narrative about the terrible things that Donald Trump will do if he becomes president. But you don't have to imagine what it would be like. All you have to do is remember what it was like. I know. Oh, yeah. I know what you hear out there about Donald Trump. I know what you read what the media tells you and what out-of-touch celebrities on the left say about this man. But when I look at Donald Trump, I see a wonderful father, father-in-law, and of course, grandfather to my 2 young children, Luke and Carolina. I know that I'm lucky enough to get to call him my father-in-law and see him a little differently than all of you. But it's through that lens that I sometimes wish more people could see him. This is a man who has sacrificed for his family and a man who has truly sacrificed for his country. Donald Trump didn't need to run for president for fame or money. Trust me, we all know he already had plenty of that. I'll tell you why he did it and why he continues on, even in the face of the unthinkable. Because he loves this country. He did it for his grandchildren, for your children and grandchildren, and for the generations to come. I have seen this man dragged through hell and back, in and out of courtrooms, indictments, impeachments, mugshots, and even an assassination attempt. And yet, he has never backed down. I'll never forget watching my 2 children run up to him with their drawings and hugs for Grandpa, just moments before he took the elevator down in Trump Tower to address the media the day after his wrongful conviction. Despite everything else he had going on, he had no other focus in the entire world, just a man relishing time with his grandchildren. It's a side of Donald Trump that not enough people get to see. Maybe you got to see a side of Donald Trump on Saturday that you were not sure existed until you saw it with your own eyes. Martin Luther King Jr. once famously said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of convenience and comfort, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." There's no doubt that Saturday was one of the most frightening moments of my father-in-law's life. Millimeters separated him from life and certain death. And yet, it was in the midst of it all, as he was jostled off stage by Secret Service, that he knew how defining that moment would be for our country, and he hoisted his fist in the air. It was not just for the audience at the rally, not just for his supporters tuning in, but for all of America. And as a signal to the world that no matter what, America will always prevail. Though it's been strained and attacked, no enemy, no force, not even a bullet is strong enough to break our American grit and our American soul. We are the country whose founders gave their fortunes, freedom, and lives to pursue the dream of a free society. We are the country of Thomas Edison, Susan B. Anthony, Henry Ford, and Harriet Tubman. We are the country who fought and won 2 world wars. And we are the country who always rises to meet the moment, no matter how insurmountable the task. And in that split second, on Saturday, Donald Trump reminded us all of that very history and who we are at our core as a nation. That is the Donald Trump that I know. He is an American who conquered the business world, an American who made himself a household name, an American who was beloved by politicians and fellow celebrities for decades until he ran for office with an R next to his name. An American whom even Barack Obama admits people consider the American dream. And instead of sailing off into the sunset after an illustrious real estate and television career, he decided to give back. He decided to bring some of the things that had made him so successful in life to all of you in order to improve the lives of all Americans. Black, white, brown, gay, straight, all Americans, because that's the man that Donald Trump is. I can tell you that my personal experience with Donald Trump has shown me his heart. There wasn't a second that he made this small-town girl who was way out of her element in New York City feel anything but welcomed and part of the family. And if not for the support and encouragement of my father-in-law, I wouldn't be where I am today. It's been said by many that Donald Trump sees things in people that they don't even recognize in themselves. In 2016, when he asked me to help him win my home state of North Carolina, I'll be honest, I was terrified. I had no idea how I would make it happen, but he knew I would, and I did. When I was given an opportunity to join a television network as a commentator, it was the push and support of my father-in-law that gave me the confidence to take that job. Always the first one to call or text me after a TV hit and tell me, "Great job, keep going." Not bad, right? Or even a few months ago, when he called and asked me to be the co-chair of our party, he showed me potential in myself that I couldn't yet see. So tonight, to my father-in-law, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your resilience. Thank you for continuing on. Thank you for raising wonderful kids. Thank you for being an amazing grandfather. Thank you for never giving up on me. And thank you for never giving up on our country. Tonight, I come to you, not as the co-chair of the RNC, not as the daughter-in-law of the candidate. Tonight, I come to you as a mom and as a citizen of this country. For those of you watching who have never voted for Donald Trump, I know what the media and his political opponents have tried to tell you about this man. Believe me, I have seen and heard it all. But I have also seen the truth. I am proud to know Donald Trump, to campaign for him, to vote for him, and to raise his grandchildren. He will do what is necessary to protect you, protect your family, and protect this country. Because Donald Trump wants us all to be successful, to be safe, to be happy, to be strong, and to be great again. Tonight, I'm asking you to vote, not for the Donald Trump you see flashed on your TV every day, splashed across the headlines. Tonight, I'm asking you to vote for the Donald Trump that Luke and Carolina call Grandpa. I'm asking you to vote for the Donald Trump that my husband Eric calls Dad. I'm asking you to vote for the Donald Trump that I call my father-in-law. I'm asking you to vote for the Donald Trump who can and will make America great once again for all of us. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. We love you. Thank you, guys.
The Republican Party co-chair, Laura Trump, offering and recasting the image of Donald Trump and compassionate, warm grandpa that she mentioned many ways as they seek to court suburban women, which he did not do well with 4 years ago and lost to Joe Biden. Robert Costa.
Day 2 of the convention, full of a barrage of partisan attacks, but also muted speeches, with so many of the Republicans here grappling with what happened over this past weekend, an assassination attempt on former President Trump. You also saw with the closing speech, politics still is a family business for the Trump family, the family front and center. Donald Trump Jr. in the vice presidential selection of Senator J.D. Vance, and now Laura Trump tonight giving the keynote speech.
Major Garrett.
Tonight's speeches, Nora, encapsulated this unique moment for Donald Trump. He runs as an incumbent, as a challenger, and as many people said on the stage tonight, a victim. Quite clearly Saturday, everyone saw him as a potential victim of an assassination attempt. But there was an effort to conflate his legal troubles with that assassination, though there's no connection whatsoever. Several rhetorically tried to do that. Also tonight, it describes the Trump administration and its record as glorious terms, overlooking a hard political fact. Donald Trump lost the 2020 election by 7 million votes. That nostalgia, though, might be well placed for Republicans, comes up with the hard reality of the politics of 2020, politics that this party gathered here in Milwaukee hopes to reverse in 2024.
That is part of the sales jobs of each party's convention. We're seeing that underway. Major Garrett, Robert Costa, thank you very much. That wraps up night 2 of the Republican National Convention. Our coverage continues on CBS News 24/7 and tomorrow on CBS Mornings. And join us again tomorrow night for the CBS Evening News and more primetime coverage of the RNC right here on CBS. For all of us at CBS News, I'm Nora O'Donnell. Good night.
Colbert goes live after the RNC with Senator Elizabeth Warren tonight.
Family caregivers have one of the most rewarding and most difficult jobs there is, helping frail.
Pictionary.
I can't wait for this. Where's my popcorn?
Play along from home.
Iguana? Iguana is correct.
With a chance to win.
You just did a cartwheel and you're like 7'6".
Every weekday.
Pictionary, weekdays at 9 on WZMQ CBS. The lemonade stand that started a crusade against childhood cancer. See how Alex Scott's dream of helping children is coming true every day. Watch Wednesday, July 24th at 7 p.m. on WZMQ CBS. Sponsored by Northern Michigan University.
The Shortlist, a countdown show that's all sports. See the greatest names and the greatest games in all sports. Sports fans love it, and you will too. That's The Shortlist, only from SSN, the Cindy Sports Network.
Sophia Murphy reports at 6 and 11 on WZMQ 19 News. You're watching CBS in the Upper Peninsula, WZMQ 19.
War in Ukraine, something that the United States has been heavily invested in, as well as the Israel-Hamas conflict. But Brendan, I think security, though, and safety for sure has definitely been a top list here at the RNC.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sarah and Kevin, I don't know if you can hear, but throughout the day, we've got Coast Guard helicopters, local law enforcement helicopters, Coast Guard patrols in the water with the different rivers around Milwaukee, everywhere. Thousands probably, different law enforcement officials from agencies across the country, state police from New Jersey, Indiana, really everywhere. Safety, security, top of mind, especially given what happened on Saturday, and that was the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. It was a big deal. A lot of lawmakers and leaders of Congress we heard from here today have a lot of questions, as I think a lot of the American public do. Questions about how this shooter was able to get where they were. Obviously, we know Secret Service has an incredibly difficult job. It's impossible to go over every single possible scenario, especially in an outdoor venue like that. But regardless of that, there still are questions, and those questions are going to be investigated by lawmakers in Congress once they return to Washington. Speaker Johnson spoke about that earlier today on the convention floor, and here's what he had to say.
The House is conducting an immediate and thorough investigation of these tragic events. And that work has already begun. The American people deserve to know the truth, and we will ensure accountability. I promise you that. I promise you that.
So as you can see, they are taking this very seriously. I think members on both sides of the aisle, including President Biden, they are taking that attempted assassination very seriously. But really what we're hearing from people here is about unity, and that this is a time to really kind of come together, get more unified, and really kind of, if there's any differences, just work them out in a civil way.
Absolutely. And toning down the rhetoric, too. That's been a big thing. Obviously, today's politics, very polarized. It's hard to find that middle ground sometimes. A lot of politicians and lawmakers we were speaking with toning down the rhetoric, respecting one another, finding that middle ground, agreeing to disagree, as a lot of people say. But certainly it's a whole nother element here at this 2024 Republican National Convention. We're just about halfway through, still 2 more days, so a lot more coverage still to come. But for now, reporting here live in Milwaukee, I'm Brendan Scanlon.
And I'm Rachel Knapp. Sarah, Kevin, back to you.
All right, Rachel and Brendan, thank you very much.
Absolutely, and WZMQ's Washington, D.C. correspondents will also be providing coverage of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago in just about a month.
And as soon as the RNC wraps up this week, Trump and Vance will head to Lower Michigan on Saturday for a campaign in Grand Rapids. CBS Detroit reports the two will hold a rally at Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids. It will mark former President Trump's 5th trip to the Great Lakes state in 2024. Let's send it on over to Mike for some sports.
Thank you, Sarah and Kevin. Good evening, everyone. It's been nearly 2 decades since Upper Peninsula native Jamie Angeli held his basketball camp of champs in the region. That drought ended this week as he returned to hold a camp at Norway High School. Angeli was an all-UP first-team player at West Iron County High School in the late 1970s, and despite being the smallest school in the league, won the Great Northern Conference title twice. He played college basketball at Wisconsin Stout. Since then, he's been an assistant coach at many levels: UCLA, Michigan Tech, Lake Superior State, and former NBA coach Stan Albeck at Bradley and NMU. Then there's stops in Qatar and Kuwait, and an advanced scout for the WNBA's Washington Mystics. Not to mention lots of basketball books and DVDs. Currently, he's an associate director of athletics at Division III City College of New York. Some of the drills have changed, but the philosophy is the same. 2 things to keep in mind: the triple threat position and the basket cut.
Catch, cut, and finish 3-on-3 basketball league. And if they don't catch and face the basket every time, if they don't pass and cut, the coach is supposed to blow the whistle when they're out and a new team comes on, and it is rapid fire. It's just 3-on-3 with a new team ready to come in. And they teach themselves pretty quick. After they're out, you can see them talking to each other. Man, you got to catch and face, man. You got to cut harder next time.
My friend, he decided to do this. And he invited me to referee.
What are you learning from this camp?
some plays, like how they practice.
The youngster with the Spartan shirt will drive and score here off the window. The Camp of Champs runs through Thursday. An Upper Peninsula golfer will be playing in the Senior Open Championship at Carnoustie, Scotland next weekend, July 25th through the 28th. Iron County's Jay Jurasic reached his goal of playing in a major championship after shooting a 9-under par 61 at a qualifier last week in Northeast Ohio. Now, he's been busy this week making plans for the flight, of course, but he's still helping youngsters learn about the game. Jurasic turned pro in 2021, debuting at the Sanford International in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. This will mark his second PGA Tour champion start. Yes, he's nervous. Yes, he's excited and more. He wants to make the most of this opportunity for not only himself, but the Upper Peninsula.
To play golf here at Young's because there was opportunity for students. We could play for free at certain parts of the day that I would never got into golf. I taught school here for 20 years. I grew up here. I live a mile away, and now I'm going to the country of Scotland, which golf started. So it's just amazing to be on that journey like that.
His whole life, he wanted to pursue that. He needed money, obviously, so he fulfilled that by teaching. And in the summers, he'd go to the Dakotas tour, travel all over the Midwest golfing.
I'm looking forward to the conditions. Growing up in the UP with the cold and the wind, and I've always liked to play in tough conditions, so I think that'll be to my advantage. They said we could play on Saturday for the non-exempt players. Otherwise, I can play Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday. The exempt players that are already in the tournament, they get to play on Sunday and Monday, so I'll be able to get 3 practice rounds in.
A little support financially from Young's, 35. Part of our board. He spends time with our youth out here. Anyone that needs a lesson, Jay is there for them, so congrats.
The tournament again runs from July 25th through Sunday the 28th. The regular Open Championship starts on Thursday. Turning to minor softball, Escanaba and Gladstone doing battle in a district final. That's Macy Egbertson clubbing one the opposite way. Harper Ediska scores, and Escanaba has a 3-1 lead. Gladstone very aggressive on the bases. On the overthrow, Paisley Brandstrom will score, and Escanaba's lead down to 3-2. Moments later, pitch gets away. Hazel Driebel scores, and we're now tied at 3. Then Stella Ruther punches one for a big base hit here. Gladstone leads 5-3 going into the final inning, and good job by the Gladstone defense getting the tag out here, and they get one more out as well, and Gladstone holds on to win this one 5-3. These two teams meet again tomorrow, 6:30 at Escanaba's Lemoran Park. Elsewhere, 9-10 minor softball, Marquette excuses Ishpeming 14-3. Marquette and Negaunee for the title tomorrow. In 9-10 minor baseball, Negaunee into the title game 6-4 over Marquette. Pinocchio Range excused by Portage Lake 9-8. And it's Gladstone over Kingsford 2-1. That state tournament is in Ishpeming, and we will be right back.
Amy Doyle reports at 6 and 11 on WZMQ 19 News.
It's hilarious. Hidden camera. Hijinks. The world's longest running prank show is back. Just for laughs, gags.
Weekdays on WZMQ CBS.
John's Auto is still your #1 source for a pre-owned vehicle. Our standards are still the highest. We have the cleanest hand-picked inventory around. That's what we're known for.
John's has built a legacy over the years, if you will, and for us to be able to jump into the service industry, the detailing industry, we provide quality service, timely, reliable, trustworthy, just like John's has for years in car sales.
Come on down to John's Auto and see what we're all about. Sales, service, and detailing.
19 News is brought to you by Kirkish Furniture.
A progressive jackpot that grows with every play. That's what makes Fast Cash so thrilling. The jackpot keeps building and building until jackpot. Fast Cash, only from the Michigan Lottery.
Experience the soulful tunes of Marquette's local musicians this summer with Music on 3rd, a series of sidewalk concerts held every third Thursday from June through September from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. 3rd Street in Marquette's downtown district comes alive with the eclectic sounds of talented artists, providing the perfect backdrop for an evening of exploration and entertainment. Join the community in celebrating the vibrant culture of Marquette. Music on 3rd is sponsored by Flagstar Bank and WZMQ 19.
I'm Sophia Murphy at the Capitol in Lansing, only on WZMQ 19 News.
We're almost sitting in our expected low temperature range, which will be the 50s. Of course, cooler on that interior, so along that Michigan-Wisconsin border. Tomorrow we've got some chances of showers in the morning, maybe some thunderstorms rumbling around there. Overall, though, those temperatures nice and mild, 60s, maybe close to 75 degrees. And then those breezes, we've got some gusty conditions. So if you're looking to fish tomorrow on Little Bay Denock, it looks like those chances for showers and thunderstorms are ending around 2 p.m. So if that's your ideal time, that's when you go. If you'd like to steer clear of that, though, looks like your better chances are going to be later in the afternoon. And then we do have some possible choppy waves up to about 1 feet high. 1 foot. Escanabas outlook will warm up on Friday to around 81 degrees. We'll stick with that temperature range into the weekend and next week.
All right, thanks very much, Aaron. And finally tonight, a popular Houghton sandwich shop has reopened in Marquette.
Chicago Beefs held its soft opening in Marquette's Masonic Building on Saturday. The restaurant specializes in Chicago-style Italian beef and sausage sandwiches. Try saying that 10 times fast. The owner says the turnout so far has been great. They've seen plenty of customers, and even though the Houghton location is now closed, he's excited to bring his food to Marquette.
Best to try to recreate, what it feels like to be in a Chicago beef joint, complete with being recognized by the owner when you're a regular and having him buy you a sandwich once in a while.
Chicago Beefs is open 7 days a week. We have the full hours posted at WZMQ19.com. A grand opening is planned for sometime in the next 2 weeks. You can't complain about another food option downtown.
I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's my contribution.
I appreciated it. That's all the time we have for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
What do you do when your tire goes flat and there's no air anywhere to fix that? You reach for Bullseye Pro, the smarter, faster, hands-free way to fill it up with air. Bullseye Pro is equipped with a rechargeable lithium-ion power plant. So fast, so strong, and so convenient.